thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us today. I want to start with reports, news that we heard of a man who died in ICE custody on Saturday. What do you know? What can you tell us about the details around his death?
So thank you so much for the question. It's super unfortunate. Once again, another death at Delaney Hall Detention Center. And from what we know, the young man, Edwin, a 39-year-old from Plainfield, had a emergency. From what it appears, a heart attack had occurred at Delaney Hall. And when he arrived at University Hospital, he was unresponsive and considered to be dead when he arrived there. We understand that this gentleman had underlying health conditions, from high blood pressure to diabetes, and required medical treatment that, as I've continued to say from the beginning, Delaney Hall is not, adequate enough to be giving medical treatment to folks who have chronic diseases at this center, and because of such suffered this tragic, emergency experience that ended up with him losing his life.
I spoke with Congressman Jeff Van Drew, Republican, your counterpart, your colleague down in Congress. He says that there is adequate medical care. He says that the food is sufficient. He says that this is a very, very well-run facility. And your Democratic colleague, Congressman Rob Menendez, on the flip side, is talking about publicly ICE changing the detention status of folks sometimes when they have these medical issues. And he says that ICE has a practice where they release detainees when there's a medical issue. So my question to you is, who has it right? Who has it wrong here? Do you agree with either of your colleagues?
Well, the first thing that I will say is Congressman Van Drew is a liar. I have been to this detention center on many occasions, both myself and Congressman Rob Menendez, where we have personally experienced not being able to talk to a doctor, where we have spoken to the team there in the medical office who literally could not answer questions for us. We, both Rob Menendez and myself have gone many times and spoke to detainees who told us that they have not been given adequate medical care, that they have requested medication, from pregnant women who have been detained at this location who suffered miscarriages from not having proper OB/GYN care. And so, Congressman Van Drew, who showed up at the last minute to go to this facility just one time, finding his way somehow to Newark, a yellow brick road led him there, who says everything is going great at this location is just lying. And taking up for his Republican colleagues and this president, who we know has been operating the ICE, the ICE structure literally just cruel and chaotic.
You continue to call for Delaney Hall to be closed, yes?
Absolutely. Delaney Hall needs to be, closed. It is a detention center of cruelty and chaos and should not be open. And we continue to see examples of this with another death there and many folks who continue to complain about the conditions of this location. It should not be open. It should not be being ran.
Let me ask you this, Congresswoman. There are many who will say that we need detention centers to enforce our immigration policies, that our immigration policies need to be enforced. Do you disagree?
Well, no, not 100%. No, I think that, look, this country definitely needs to have immigration reform. We need to work on that. I think that that's number one, should be a priority for both sides of the aisles. But at the end of the day, do I co-sign a facility that is open and should not be operating because they do not have the adequate attention? They don't have adequate food. They do not, have medical care. Geo Group has not been a great operator of this location, and it should not be open. Americans should not be having their tax dollars spent to enforce cruelty and chaos at these locations. Once again, this is a detention center that has a $2 billion contract with the federal government that tax dollars are being paid for, public dollars, and it's unacceptable and it should not be, functioning or open.
I want to switch gears and ask you about Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. I know that you and Congressman Menendez went to his confirmation hearing. His nomination moved forward today after he was able to reach a deal with two Republican senators who had been holding out on the deal, John Cornyn and Tom Tillis. The deal was to end this nearly $1.8 billion fund. It's called the Anti-Weaponization Fund that would go to people who say they've been harmed by the Department of Justice. Your thoughts on whether he should be confirmed as Attorney General?
Look, it is unfortunate that Todd Blanche is moving forward, for a vote in front of the entire Senate. He is unfit, unqualified, and should not be serving as this country's next attorney general or acting attorney general. He is just going to be
Why? Why do you
another.
feel that way?
He is going to be another mouthpiece on behalf of the president. During his confirmation hearing, he actually stated that he was the president's attorney. And he is not the attorney for the president. He is the attorney for the United States of America, for the people in this country. And he has literally demonstrated multiple times, going back to last May, where he ordered the arrest of Mayor Ras Baraka for no apparent reason. And we continue to see him acting out in an unfashionable, unprofessional manner. And I don't think that, both of the two Republicans that held out in the beginning should trust a word that is coming out of Todd Blanche's mouth. And so it's truly unfortunate. And I will continue to say that he should not be the attorney general, let alone working in the cabinet of the executive branch.
You yourself have made the claim that you've been targeted by the Department of Justice. I want to ask where your case is. I know that you appealed in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. Do you have any updates for us there?
So we are currently waiting for an opinion from the Third Circuit. We are, confident, in our case and our argument. As I continue to say, since I was charged via Twitter by Alina Habba, that these charges are bogus. They honestly are just political intimidation and prosecution. And at the end of the day, it's unfortunate that I have to be going through this situation. It's super unfair and expensive on my account, but this is what happens when you stand up to this administration, hold them accountable, and protect the people that I have been elected to protect, which I do not apologize for. That is my job as a member of Congress, and I'm going to continue to do that on behalf of the people of the 10th Congressional District.
Just a little bit of time that we have left. I do want to ask you about a bill that you recently introduced called the Small Business Development Centers Improvement Act. Can you tell us about this bill and what it would do?
Yeah, so thank you so much for bringing that up. It's a very important bill. As you know, right now, many of our small businesses and entrepreneurs throughout this country get resources and assistance through our small business centers, through the SBA. And since Trump has come back into office 2.0, SBA underneath his leadership has tried to strip away those resources for our entrepreneurs in this country. And so this bill would basically help provide more funding and to be able to keep these small business centers open, to be able to be a resource and support to our small business owners. Small business owners are struggling like many Americans in this country right now, and we should be helping them and supporting them, not stripping away support. And as a member of the Small Business Administration Committee, this is something I'm truly passionate about, not just for the business owners in the 10th Congressional District, but throughout New Jersey and throughout this country.
Very quickly, do you think this will have bipartisan support, $175 million that you're asking for here?
I think so. The only way that it wouldn't, if, Republicans are playing politics and choosing not to work with me because of other matters, or, punishing me because of me doing my job as it relates to Homeland Security. But at the end of the day, this is to support businesses that, are in red districts, blue districts. This is to support everyone. It's not a Democratic, bill. It's something for everyone to get behind. And so I really hope my Republican colleagues can put aside political, intimidation and the mindset, and really get on board for the greater good of the businesses in their districts.